Here's a story that's making the rounds. Politico, AOC breaks with Bernie on how to lead the left. Now, if there's one thing you need to know about AOC, she's a party loyalist. And she's turned into a solid party loyalist really quick. Just so you know. Okay. And she's another one. As soon as, I was the first one to have her on the show. And then as soon as the Democratic Party told her I was persona non grata, she never returned an email to the show. Just so you know. Little Jimmy Dore in his fucking garage. They can't handle those questions. Isn't that amazing? That's amazing to me. And that tells me everything I need to know. How are you going to fight a $4.2 trillion behemoth when you can't answer a question from Jimmy Dore? When you're afraid of a fucking question from Jimmy Dore? The answer is you're not going to. They didn't fight, and they gave away the house. They let them rob the house while the house is on fire. That's what happened. So let's see what this. After her victory in 2018, Ocasio-Cortez encouraged progressives to follow in her footsteps and run for Congress with the backing of the left-wing group Justice Democrats, even if it meant taking on powerful incumbents. 16 months later, the Missouri primary isn't. So now I found out that Ocasio-Cortez didn't back. She only backed 2 people this year that the Justice Democrats ran for Congress. Did you know that, Craig?
Yes, I do. And I also know she didn't back Sima Hernandez. She backed Sima's opponent.
So AOC did not back Sima Hernandez, who's the real grassroots organizer there. AOC jumped in and backed the union-busting Democrat. Isn't that amazing? Get ready. I'm telling you, the fucking mask is off. This is the great unmasking. This fucking stimulus bill is the great unmasking. If you ever thought for a second that anybody you will fucking voted for would ever fight for you, you are wrong. They will go along with what Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer tell them, and that doesn't matter if they don't take corporate money. They're going to do whatever Nancy Pelosi tells them to. And they won't do something that they should do if Nancy Pelosi tells them not to. Why do you think they're not sending out emails right now telling people to organize, to strike? Because they're being told not to. So she only endorsed 2 Justice Democrats. AOC. Oh, it only took 2 years for her to fucking capitulate.
Move to your left.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. Jimmy, I went to her campaign headquarters about 6 weeks before the election. I'd seen her on your show, and I went and saw her, and I was really, really impressed. But I made some friends within the campaign that I stayed in touch with, and about a week before she got elected, they said things have changed. The DNC lawyers have come on in, and it just seems like it's totally different going on. So it seems like when they smell blood in the water, they'll get a hold of you. And not because I consider myself a friend, but the reason she didn't go onto your show, to me, her and Bernie Sanders, it's like they're hiding. They're hiding from the real questions. So it really is a dent in my support for these candidacies and these people when they refuse to go on your show and answer the real questions for the real progressives. And that's one thing about AOC. It's always been kept in my mind. She never went back to the show.
She never even returned an email. That's that. So, she's the Justice Democrats' big star, and she wouldn't even endorse fucking Justice Democrats. 16 months later, the Missouri primary isn't the only one Ocasio-Cortez. So she endorsed Cori Bush, who's running in Missouri last time. She didn't do it this time. She's steering clear. That's not the only race Ocasio-Cortez is steering clear of. Of the half dozen incumbent primary challengers, Justice Democrats is backing this cycle. Ocasio-Cortez has only endorsed just 2. Neither was a particularly risky move. Both candidates, Jessica Cisneros in Texas and Marie Newman in Illinois, were taking on conservative Democrats who oppose abortion rights and later earned the support of several prominent national Democrats. Ocasio-Cortez's reluctance marks a break with the outsider tactics of the activist left, represented by groups like Justice Democrats. This election cycle, the organization is trying to boot not just conservative Democrats, but also some liberal Democrats, and to replace them with members who are more left-wing. Ocasio-Cortez's shift coincides with turnover among top aides in her congressional office, replacing some outspoken radicals with more traditional political professionals, along with a broader reckoning on the left on how to expand Sanders' coalition after his failure to significantly do so in the presidential primary. So that is true. Bernie did not expand his coalition in the presidential primary. Mostly, I don't know why, but just from my vantage point, and I could be wrong, it seemed to me Bernie does not know how to build coalitions.
No, he doesn't.
He does not know how to, but he does not know how to, just didn't do it. He couldn't even get, Tulsi Gabbard was begging to give him her endorsement. He wouldn't even return the phone call. How do you not know how to get all the anti-war everything and coalesce them? They don't. Okay.
Yeah.
Some progressives have questioned whether Sanders should have softened his anti-establishment rhetoric and tried to build bridges with mainstream Democrats who voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016 rather than betting big on turning out disaffected and first-time voters. After her disruptive burn-it-down early months in Congress, Ocasio-Cortez, who colleagues say is often conflict-averse in person, has increasingly been trying to work more within the system. She is building coalitions with fellow Democratic members and picking her fights more selectively. The changes have divided her supporters, with some lamenting she's been co-opted in short order by the system and others asserting she's offering the left more viable path towards sustained power. Gone are her plans for a corporate-free caucus, modeled on the uncompromising tactics of the Conservative Freedom Caucus. The goal then was to force leadership's hand to go further left. Turns out Nancy Pelosi went further right, and AOC and everybody else voted for her. After starting some high-profile fights with Speaker Nancy Pelosi and tweaking Democratic colleagues on Twitter early in her tenure, Ocasio-Cortez has been more conciliatory towards other House Democrats. In February, she dubbed Pelosi the mama bear of the Democratic Party. Over the past few weeks, Ocasio-Cortez has also chided Sanders supporters for online harassment and delivered soft critiques of Sanders and some of his allies for being too conflict-based. The moves have drawn surprise praise from some moderate and veteran Democrats. Neera Tanden, for instance, she's the president of the liberal think tank Center for American Progress and a longtime Hillary Clinton aide. She called Ocasio-Cortez's shift a sign of leadership. There are some people on the left who thought that their views represented a strong majority, and the primary process has shown that voters diverged, that Sanders is winning a minority, and smaller minority than he had 4 years ago, Tanden said. Justice Democrat aides said Ocasio-Cortez remains the most anti-establishment Democrat in Congress. They pointed to fundraising and advocacy work she has already done for Cisneros and Newman. Cisneros lost her race while Newman won. Newman was running against fucking Hannibal Lecter. I hope she won. Jesus Christ. Still, some left-wing supporters have been less enamored with Ocasio-Cortez's evolution. Many were reluctant to speak publicly. However, given her stature and the fact that Sanders' expected loss makes her a likely heir to his movement. So you know who else who spoke out about this? Is Cenk Uygur. Cenk Uygur. Cenk Uygur said a lot of progressives in this article are very nice, but my job is to keep it real. AOC's decision to work with establishment rather than challenge it is very disappointing. So he caught a lot of shit for that, for just saying that. Just for saying that, right? So he caught, I go on Twitter today, Cenk was trending. I'm like, I thought it was that cartoon character Cenk. So I went and I looked, nope, it was my Cenk. And this is why, because he tweeted that. That's what he tweeted. That's nothing. Let me put it, what do you think about that?
Well, the
whole thing.
the whole thing is that, there's so much sensationalism when it comes down to things that, it was kind of funny when you saw in the beginning of this crisis, Tulsi Gabbard put forth a UBI with Tom Cotton and Mitt Romney, and she got blasted. But as soon as she put AOC's name to it, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everything calmed down online. Same thing kind of goes over here. Is anytime you speak out against any of these people like the AOCs or the Bernie Sanders, you get this backlash no matter what's said. And it's a shame, because that's where we're at in our political discourse right now. The truth is the truth. And if the truth blows it up, so be it. So I don't see anything wrong with Cenk saying this right here, but that's the typical kind of like what we talked about, this kind of cultish kind of following for these people that no matter what they say, whether they be right or wrong. And in this case, AOC was put there to rage against the machine. We put her there to fight against the Nancy Pelosi's, not join them. And this is just more evidence of her getting a little bit more friendlier with the establishment and trying to work within. And I think it is a big mistake, because the ultimate goal is either you start a third party or you blow up that Democratic Party from the inside and you take it over yourself. You're not taking it over. You're joining it.
You're joining.
She was the only one.
The Justice Democrats are joining the party. Ayanna Pressley backed Elizabeth Warren. They're all bad. They all voted for fucking Nancy Pelosi as she moved to the right. They're not taking over the party. They're joining the party.
Yeah.
They're joining
and this
the party.
is more evidence right here of that same type of behavior by AOC. And of course she's going to have her case. She's going to say, well, listen, if I primary this Democrat wins, then I can't work with him because I just supported the primary challenger. So I have to kind of mind my business if I want to get things done in Congress. So, I guess she's kind of facing that quagmire, but I don't know.
Here's another tweet by Cenk Uygur. He said it's not fake news. AOC has not endorsed most progressive challengers. I'm guessing including Cenk Uygur. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's not fake news. AOC has not endorsed. Man, after all the fucking shit Cenk did for her. Look all the shit I did for her. She wouldn't even return my fucking email.
No, I know. But she's told not to. The DNC lawyers, they told her you cannot talk to Jimmy Dore.
That's exactly what has happened.
Yeah. Same with Bernie. Same with Bernie.
Same thing with Bernie. And they listen. They listen to the party. And anybody who doesn't think they don't listen to the party is just now who's being naive, Kay. It's not fake news, Cenk Uygur says. AOC has not endorsed most progressive challengers. If we're being honest, her political calculations now would lead her to not endorse someone exactly like herself. The bridge was awfully nice while you were crossing it. Apparently not so much anymore. Fucking Cenk Uygur taking the gloves off with AOC. Holy fucking F shit. Bam.
He should.
Of course he should.
He should.
Of course, but the problem is, in his next tweet, he's going to tell you to vote for Joe Biden. That's fucking. You can't fucking say she's a party insider. Now you got to tell people to vote for fucking. So it's a bit of a schizophrenic message, but he's right here, and he took shit for this, man. He took shit for it.
She would have never been in office if it wasn't for him. It wasn't for you. I mean, she was on your show. She got a lot of play. A lot of people started looking into her. I went and visited her when I was in New York. You know what I'm saying? I said, I have to go see what she's all about. I did some reporting on it. I was very impressed with her ground game in that campaign. But, you guys put her front and center, and now she's kind of pushing everybody away who put her there. And the responsibilities, her worst decision, AOC, was backing Nancy Pelosi for Speaker of the House. And I don't understand it. It's almost an emulation of Bernie's vote in the Senate for the CARES Act. Why? It's going to get passed anyways. Make a stand on your values and the progressives that you stand up for. Say no to Nancy Pelosi. Say no to big bailouts for corporations. And they didn't fucking do it. Sorry about that.
No, you're right. Where's one more trick? I'm glad. That's why you're here, Craig. I want you to say it. And then here's Adam Green, tool of the establishment, who pretends he's progressive, and he's just a flat-out, bald-faced liar. Adam Green says, why define AOC picking smart fights as siding with the establishment? Do you see this fucking puke? Do you see it every turn they find a way to fucking
I was wondering
to excuse fucking being a pussy and going along with the fucking machine? Yeah. That's all he knows how to do is fucking figure out how to go along with the machine. That's what fucking Adam Green's whole game is. How could I get power pretending to be progressive, but really sucking up to the cock of the machine?
He's a bold progressive there.
He's a bold progressive. Structural change. He needs structural change inside of his fucking brainstem. Why define AOC picking smart fights as siding with the establishment? If anything, we need more progressives who understand power, leverage, coalitions, and when to use each. You guys never use any. You never use fucking any leverage ever. What leverage did Elizabeth Warren just use right now? You fucking bullshitter. He's such a bullshitter. Cenk says, this is not just about AOC. Once you're in D.C., there is tremendous pressure not to primary chair his colleagues. The pressure is on everybody, including Bernie. I don't think being very selective is the right strategy because then we wouldn't have necessarily had wins like AOC. And he's a fucking 1,000% right. And his little bitch boy, Adam Green, is 1,000% wrong as usual.
Adam Green's a big fan of yours, isn't he?
Yeah, oh, big. He lied straight to my face. And when he did that, he was dead to me. I thought we were friends. I'm such an asshole. I'm such a gullible. Now who's naive, Kay? Me. I'm such a gullible asswipe. I thought we were on the same side. I thought Adam Green was a solid dude. I thought we were pals. He lied right to my face like a regular cocksucker. I'm sorry, I shouldn't. There's some people get offended when I say cocksucker in a derogatory way. I love having my cock sucked, and I respect all cocksuckers.
This quarantine's going on too long for you.
Yeah.
You haven't got out and done your comedy.
Yeah, I got to go out and do this bit. That's the cocksucking. That is the nicest thing you could do for somebody. It's nicer than helping a guy move. Anyway, all right, Johnny. I mean, I always want to call you Johnny.
It's okay, because Johnny Pasta flows.
It does.
Johnny Pasta flows. It does. It's Craig Pasta. I get it. It doesn't flow and stuff. But
yeah,
no matter what, Jimmy, you're my friend.
No matter what.
Fuck Adam Green. I got your back, buddy.
No matter what, Johnny Craig. You're my friend. Everybody check out the Convo Couch. They do great shows. I watch them all the time. I was watching them last night. You had a late live stream last night.
Yeah.
That was fun.
We had to wait for Jimmy Dore to finish his show before we can go on. So, I had to wait a little bit, and then we went on.
All right, everybody check out the Couch. You going to go on tonight?
We went on earlier today.
Okay.
Fear Ellen and I, and Johnny's out doing some, I won't go out and do it. We like to get out there and do some journalism, do some stories, but
yeah.
I won't leave the house right now. And Johnny's out there reporting on some stuff, but we'll have a good one tomorrow. We're going to actually have on an election integrity specialist by the name of John Blakey. So he'll be on tomorrow to talk about, transparency in our election, because as I was watching that thing on the floor, Jimmy, I kept saying, man, we got to vote this asshole out. We got to vote this person out. But all our voting's all fucked up right now. So it looks like we're doubly screwed.
Tim Canova has a petition right now for paper ballots, and Tulsi has talked about this. Anybody who knows anything about election integrity says you have to have paper ballots. You have to have a paper trail. And so Tim Canova has a petition right now, and it's one of those things where if you get 100,000 signatures, then the White House has to address it, I guess. So that's something. So I think we should all sign that and do it, and I'll tweet it out. But there is no, if you've watched Tim Canova's elections, there is no election integrity in the United States at all. And they can cheat. They can cheat you right out in the open. Again, Bernie never even mentions the election, the exit polls. I know a lot of people don't put any faith in election polls because they're always fucked up in America. They work perfectly in other countries, but somehow in the United States, they're always fucked up, and then you always have to discount them. But they're always fucked up in the way that favors the establishment, never in the way that favors the fucking progressives or the anti-establishment. And then even the people who are progressives go, "There's nothing to see here. Go home. You're all fucking." They're just ridiculous. They're fucking ridiculous. And you know it and I know it, right, Craig?
Oh, absolutely, Jimmy. We can sit here and talk about the mistakes that Bernie Sanders made with his campaign, whether it be Russiagating or saying Joe is my friend, not bringing Tulsi on the stage for the debate, even the kind of mentality. A lot of people said he moved more towards the social justice to move away from the class, the way he had Center for American Progress all within his campaign, people like Matt Duss.
Yes.
But the biggest sin that Bernie Sanders has committed is he refuses to call out the lack of election integrity within our systems. systems, in all 50 states have proprietary software in them, meaning they're not open to the public and they can do whatever the fuck they want with these machines. So sign Tim Canova's bill because it also talks about an auditing process, because our whole elections, Jim, they need to be done over more than anything. And this in here lies Bernie Sanders' greatest sin. Call out the friggin' election fraud for once and for all. Okay,
Craig Potts, the Convo Couch. Great message. Thanks for being our guest. Hope to talk to you soon. Hope to see you in a year.
Definitely. Hi, Steph. Love you.
Okay. She had to go to the little girl's room, but all right, Craig. We'll talk to you soon.
She'll see me on the rerun. Thank you, Jimmy.
Hey, this is the part where I tell you where our live shows are, but there aren't any. And then I would tell you to go join our premium, but nobody has a fucking job. So why don't you just enjoy the video?